Welcome to the Squad Games Podcast. Squad Games Podcast.
Who's your least favorite director?
Least favorite director?
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember his name. I want to say it's Yui Boll. He does a lot of like video game movies, and they've always been bad.
Mine's M. Night Shyamalan. Welcome to the Squad Games Podcast. Sorry, that was an inside joke. I have been a catty boy. So, meow. So today we are going to be talking about Tyranids and AdMech, the two brand new teams. And I mean, the other teams haven't even released yet.
I was just saying that to somebody, like, can we get a moment like to breathe?
Yeah, like where's the homie? I got this homie right here, right? Can I get him in focus?
Hey,
right, the dude jumping off a wall, right, in his blue jeans, right? My goremonger. And me and Giacomo just played a battle report with the goremongers versus the sanctifiers. And it's pretty interesting. There's a couple people already messaging me, asking me if I'm going to be banning sanctifiers because of how strong they are. Which is pretty interesting, you know? And they're not even out yet. So I guess... Oh, yeah. It's exciting. Very exciting. And all the top players that I know are playing goremongers. They're not even playing sanctifiers.
Wow.
Well, not all the top players, but I would say... The California scene loves Felgor. They just do. They like the melee hordes, you know, and goremongers is right up their alley. So,
is it most of like the SoCal zone, like the real SoCal zone?
Yeah. Like San Diego, you know. I'm sure the Bay Area is also on the goremonger train. There's so many Felgor players in California. It's crazy. If you enjoy yourself, you know, and you enjoy Felgor, you would be awesome in California. Yeah. If you like goremongers, you know, if you like sanctifiers, awesome. But today we're going to be talking about Tyranids and AdMech. There was a lot of like people making YouTube videos like, oh my gosh, the next Kill Team box. Everyone on Reddit was like, oh my gosh, Tyranids. I was like, no way. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I was wrong.
Yep.
Giacomo, you have many times said that Tyranids don't belong in Kill Team.
They can't. It was one of those like, how do you really make it work? Mm-hmm. And eventually, I guess they just decided it doesn't matter. We're just going to put them in there. It doesn't matter, guys.
I do believe from watching the Twitch stream, we will be looking through the Twitch stream from 40K from Kill Team today, talking about the Tyranids and stuff, and then we'll go over the Warhammer article. Seeing what we can pry out of their information. Firstly, Giacomo, 5 models. How many wounds do you think these guys are going to have?
I'm guessing a solid like 18 is the average.
I'm guessing 24.
24.
24 wounds is my guess. That's what I'm going for.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. Okay.
5 models, 24 wounds. That's still less than 100 wounds. Okay.
That is still less than 100 wounds.
It is.
Because what intercessors are, let's see, what's that? 14 times 5 is
70
plus the 1 is like 60 something.
Is it? Is it less than 100 wounds? No. 24
No, you'd be about 125.
5,
like rounding
122, 121.
Yeah.
Something like that.
You're rounding up closer to there. So that is a lot of wounds.
Okay. 23 wounds. No.
I could give you 20.
21.
Like 20.
I'm going 21. 21. That's
21 feels like, of the wild numbers, that feels more correct. That's so many wounds. That's so many wounds.
Are they going to get feel no pains?
No.
Are they going to be able to burrow so you can't shoot them?
Probably. You know, honestly, probably.
Or are they just going to have a 14-inch move? Because back in the day, they used to have a 14-inch move. In fact, Raveners are considered a fast attack in the Tyranid Codex, and they were back in the day. They are not a troop. They are not an elite. They are fast attack. So, are we going to get, no matter what, turn 1 alpha striking Tyranids? What do you think, G?
I think we're well on our way to see some very fast reptilian Tyranids, which will probably be good in combat. I can see them doing like maybe not a turn
fight
one.
Twice, right?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe not a turn 1 alpha strike, but like definitely they're in position to hit you turn 2 and just like destroy whatever they want to destroy.
So Goremongers have a 7-inch charge.
Yes.
Well, a 7-inch move, a 9-inch charge, and they can pay +1. These guys are at least going to have that. At least.
These guys probably have an 8-inch move.
Yeah.
Like just alone, like
8-inch move, 3 APL. It's going to be crazy. They're going to be cooked. It's going to be cooked.
That's our guess. You know, hey, if we're wrong, put it in the comments. Tell us what you think it's actually going to be.
Yeah. Admech. I don't have a lot of good things to say about the release, so I'm not going to say very much.
Admech.
I am not a big fan of the newest aesthetic of the team. How about you, G?
I would agree. Like, I like the techno dude with the pistol, and the big guy with the ball thing is cool, I guess. I feel like there's too many servitors. Like, I don't know. They feel they're not as exciting to me, but I like the other two guys.
I think the rules will probably make up for it. You know, like
the case.
Here's the other thing. I wasn't sold on like the last 2 boxes, but when every single box that we've gotten this season, the models have been absolutely incredible.
Mm-hmm.
They really have, and they've really overserved once we've had them, because like the models behind me, I think our battle report picture is still set up. Let me see.
There it is. Yep.
It's messier. It's messier, but there it is.
There you go.
You know? There we go. I don't know, G. I don't know. Like, I'm not a big fan of the servitors, you know, like we're going hard in the weird direction, you know, it is what it is. And we're going to have to go with it, you know?
Yep.
So I know all the AdMech players are happy. They have a real team. They're a real boy now.
You know, there you go. Yeah. And the Tyranid players, congrats guys. You got it. We did it. Well, you know,
I don't know if this is what every AdMech player's ever wanted. Maybe they all wanted Stiltwalkers, you know, maybe they just wanted 12 of the Stiltwalking suits.
Right. Something like, cause that's kind of what I was thinking too. Like, I got back into AdMech when 7th edition had just released them. So they were like the first thing I played in a while. And I like their aesthetic, but I like their robed aesthetic with the weird robot things like being hidden under, because it's like a disgusting, you know, abomination of a person that was a person. And I thought like, okay, that could be kind of cool if they did that as like a kill team. But I can take servitors, I guess. You know, I'm sure it's going to be good rules. I'm sure they're going to be cool rules.
Yeah, I'm not really into AdMech's lore enough to really appreciate the team personally. I think that some of the models are cool, but they already have 2. I mean, we'll look at them here. We'll look at them here shortly.
Yes.
I mean, it's still cool, right? So
at the end of the day,
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited that we have already Games Workshop telling everyone that we're going to get 2 new teams very soon. I'm excited to paint the Tyranids and get them painted up. I do have a specific scheme that I like for them. You know, it's one of the few armies that I actually use enamels on. Giacomo, how do you plan on box art painting these AdMechians?
So
how are you planning on doing these guys?
When I first looked at the models, I kind of thought to myself, it feels like these what are they called? Servitors are wearing like tanks, like tank tops. And I thought like, well, if their pants are short enough, once I got a good look at the models, like maybe
I'll do George too.
Yeah, maybe like I'll just paint them like they're going to the beach or something, and like they all have like different logos on the back of their shirts or something. But the more I look at it, the more I realize that's maybe not feasible. But who knows? Maybe, you know, have fun with it.
Yeah, you could do like a whole bunch of like metal shirts, you know, like
there you go.
The dudes from Cascadia, you could try to like repaint one of their shirts onto them. You know, I imagine.
Kind of cool.
I wonder what Connor. So there's another podcast called Vox Cascadia, and they have an AdMech player who loves AdMech, obviously because he's an AdMech player. How many times did I say AdMech there? I don't know. I'm sure I'm making Connor happy. But But I'm interested to see what he thinks about the team being such a diehard fanboy. And I'm also interested in what other AdMech players think. I'm sure the team is going to be overly complicated, just like every other AdMech team that's ever existed. They're going to be like, oh, I'm going to switch to combat protocol. And now all of my guys get +1 attack. I'm going to switch to shooting protocol. All of my guys get +1 shot. I'm going to go to defensive. All of my guys get ceaseless defense, and like you can't switch, and maybe you could spend a CP to switch. Like, I don't know. It's probably going to be something like that, but way more complicated.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
They'll have servitor protocols or something,
Yeah. What's interesting is it looks like it's a 10 model team, and I think servitors have a lot of wounds. So like they either don't have a lot of APL, like the gun servitors of
Inquisition.
What's it called?
Right?
The Inquisition have 1 APL if there's not a homie next to them, right? Or at least that's what it was. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, that was the previous thing, and I wouldn't be surprised if they kept a rule like that for the servitors. So if that is what it is, then it just all comes down to planning your positioning with the team, and some AdMech brained person will figure out what to do, like they always do. They'll get it. They'll figure it out. They'll figure out the rules.
Yeah, they have 1 APL. And when this operative is activated, if it's visible to within 3 inches of another friendly inquisitorial operative, excluding another gun servitor, or vice versa, add 1 this operative's APL stat until the end of the activation. So I wonder if these guys are obviously better than Inquisition with in regards to mechanized stuff. So maybe their 2 leaders. As long as their 2 leaders are alive, all the AdMech get, 2 APL or something. Like, if we can even think that, I'm sure they have 2 gun servitors, just like this has 2 gun servitors, right?
Mm-hmm.
So obviously AdMech are better, so maybe the gun servitors are better, and they get 2 APL, but still 10 models, 11 wounds. I guess that's
on average.
Normal. I guess that's about normal for the 10 model teams.
And for all we know, like the 2 leaders could have more or less wounds, somewhere to kind of balance out the number of wounds on the team.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I think it's cool to see what the rules writers have been cooking up and see what their interpretation for these 2 teams will be.
Well, to be honest, Games Workshop's been really knocking it out of the park with the rules. I've really enjoyed a lot of the rules that have come out, a lot of interesting things. I think that the Vespids still need a buff, and so do the Aquilons. Mm-hmm. But, you kind of look at the other teams that have come out. Rekkas have been a phenomenal, popular success, right? Mm-hmm. Rattlings are tons of fun, right? Then we have these next 2 teams that are a lot of fun, but I just feel like they're relatively strong.
A little, yeah, tuned.
Maybe they would have fit into the meta before the balanced data slate came out. Maybe they would have been S tier back then too, mm-hmm. Or close to it. I think Warp Coven back then probably would have still wiped the board with probably the Goremongers. I don't know about the Sanctifiers though. Sanctifiers they're crazy.
They're on another level.
Yeah, I think the Goremongers are too, but only time will tell,
Only time will tell.
I think Goremongers, if you start bringing them to your locals, just like Felgor, your locals aren't going to like you for very long.
Honestly, man, when it comes to using your Gore tanks and just like killed you, all right, let me heal. Whatever. What's this game?
Yeah. They were crazy. We're hoping to get Mountainside on for an upcoming episode so that we can talk about the teams and maybe where they, kind of where they sit, whether it's tier list or whether we're just talking, hopefully we can get them on to talk soon. But I want to go over this little you and me are going to have to narrate with no music over this Games Workshop Twitch stream, because the Warhammer community article doesn't have all the photos. They don't have everything. Like, I want to see everything. You know, I want to talk about it. I am really excited about the terrain. You know, what's funny is I'm taking the Tyranids, and while I only have 5 models, I'm still going to have more to paint because I have
so much terrain. You may as well just do it, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. Fill the color scheme.
So we're going to pop over this Twitch stream real quick. Sorry, you're not going to see the whole thing because mine and Giacomo's faces are important.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have Killzone Typhon. Now you can see the Raveners, you can see the Servitors and stuff. You can see it's in Volcus, and you can see some special stuff. I don't really see anything crazy, you know? I don't see nothing insane. There are some Hormagaunts in this thing, but we both know that Hormagaunts are not a part of the kill team. So don't get your hope. They exist in the box, though. They're coming out in the box. So
yes. So you get them there. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so I'm going to press play, and we'll see how long it takes us to move on to the next one, because I turned off the audio so we don't have to listen to Games Workshop, you know, talk about them. You can listen to us. And for our listeners, you know, we're looking at I'm going to put this on pause.
Those who are listening to it on the podcast and not on YouTube.
Man, those bases are super simple.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't do anything. They just glued them down and then painted it.
I'm going to be honest. Ever since Into the Dark, they've kind of done that very simple, like, painted slate, put a little bit of rocks, done, call it a day.
Bro, I can imagine the time schedule that these guys are on. You know, like when we get a box early, like we're time crunched. So this is Volcus stuff. You know, they have a couple interesting containers and stuff.
Oh, did you notice they put a piece of paper or something on top of that container right there?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a tarp. It's pretty cool.
Oh, that's fun. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's smart.
Maybe it isn't fully painted.
There you go. And they're like, we got the red part. Call it a hey, whatever it takes to be strategizing and how to not paint your stuff. This is one way to do it.
Yeah, just cover it in tarps. No, I'm pretty sure they have the same like 4 containers that they paint It's got to be. Yeah. All right, that's cool. So I don't think there's anything that we can see in here I think this is just people setting up photos. You know? It is interesting that they're playing on a real battlefield, like an actual modeled battlefield. Right. And yet the bases aren't as spicy as the battlefield. I like the battlefield looks dope.
It does. Like, you remember Perfect Game, and they had like the big boards that were all set up, and they weren't like mats. They were full on boards. Like we had Helm's Deep there at that store, and we had some cool ones. I miss those days.
Yeah. So do I. Perfect Game. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. So pause this on the next one. This one, we're looking at more Hormagaunts. We get to see the back of this Venom guy's head, though. It's pretty cool, you know?
He's leaking a lot of venom. He's very venomous.
Yeah. And then, nothing too crazy here. Bunch of Servitors. The Servitors look great. The models are out of this world. Absolutely.
All their sculpts have been incredible ever since the age of 3D tech, you know?
Mm-hmm. Okay, then we got the Finn Mohawk Ravener coming up too. Is that your least favorite Ravener? Do you have a least favorite Ravener?
It is between the Prime and it's between the Venom one, just because it's like he's so big, or like it's like a big fin, and I wish he had like another fin coming out at the same time to balance it.
This was them telling us that we're getting all the homies, all the Hormagaunts, and then this is all the Raveners specifically.
Roar.
And that I believe this set is also giving us a bunch of NPO rules for Tyranids. We already have some for free from the community, Warhammer community. What a pretty model that guy. Yeah. You know?
I like his bigness, or its bigness, you know, as it lies. I wonder if you're going to get head options in the box.
Dude, this is a tall model. That's
very tall. Look how big this piece of terrain is next to him. This is probably my favorite one.
Yeah, this is not my favorite one. That's my second favorite one. This one's my third favorite. That guy's my favorite guy.
He's pretty dope. The Crusher.
Yeah, the Crusher guy. Yeah. I like the big, chunky guys,
He's okay. This guy's okay. He's like in the middle for me. He's the middle of the pack.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of antennas. The antennas look dope. I really like the mutations that they did with this team. I think the mutations are absolutely phenomenal. I definitely won't be painting them all different colors. They'll probably all be the same color, personally.
It'll just
so we have the Rekka. I don't think that's the Rekka.
Crusher or something, isn't it? Isn't that guy called Crusher?
Is that the same guy?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just a different angle?
Yeah.
Okay. The Venom guy, so he must shoot out. He probably has a flamer, I'm guessing.
Probably has a flamer.
He probably has some sort of flamer. This Crusher guy, do you think that I know they all supposedly burrow somehow, which is probably a weird teleport mechanic. But like, do you think that he breaks stuff too?
I totally think he can do the Rekka thing where he can break a point in like a wall.
For one APL?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure.
Make it accessible?
Yeah, it's like a move ability that breaks it. And I'm going to guess you'd only ever really use that for like if burrowing has restrictions, or if you're playing like an NPO type game where you need to have little guys go through the hole so you break the hole and, you're the ram.
Well, Volkus is notorious for having like Volkus having you could just sit a dude on a door, and you can't get in any other way. You could probably come through like a middle of a wall with these guys, which makes sense. With only 5 models, they need to have some kind of movement abilities,
Right. They got to have something.
So a flamer, these guys all fight twice. What do you think their profiles are? You think they're 5'6"?
Probably 5'6". Some of them are going to have like probably brutal. Some of them, I think this guy would have brutal. I don't know if 4'6". That feels like maybe they have like a big strike and they have like a little strike or something.
Well, that was a weird transition. I guess we'll move on to AdMech. So they definitely come with 2 gun servitors, probably the same as the last box. We have our other servitors over here.
One thing to note is that looks like a Volkite gun as opposed to the plasma gun.
Is that not the plasma?
It's not the plasma. That's a Volkite. It's very boxy. And I remember when they first came out, the leader with the big top hat that you could make had the Volkite gun on his side. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Volkite cannon came to this servitor.
Yeah, and the heavy bolter's 4.5, right?
Classic. It's very good.
I can imagine both of these teams being extremely tanky. It's a very cool shot, some expensive camera equipment getting these shots.
This is some nice equipment for sure.
This is some other servitor, Magus servitor that
he does something with
program.
Servitors. Yeah, exactly. He's a big old shell on his back. He kind of looks like a rack, like the Dark Eldar racks, right? That's what they're called.
Yeah,
or the big bot, whatever the bloat guys are. And then there's these dude. You can see a better look at the Volkite right there.
Yeah, they got a lot of smoke going on.
They do.
That guy's a tiny little hand. Look at his tiny little hand.
Yeah, he's got a T-Rex hand.
Yeah. And then you got this homie. All right, let's see. Let's count. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10.
Okay.
Yeah. 10 models, 10 homies. Didn't we just look at this? We're doing it again, huh? Games Workshop.
They're going back and forth. They really want you to see it.
Yeah, they must have had some really long talking points,
See, I don't mind the dude in the back. I think he looks pretty cool with his robes.
Oh, he's the leader, right?
Yeah, I think he's going to be the leader. Yeah.
Clock at the bottom. That's nice.
Yeah, he's just always keeping track of time. He's Flava Flav for those who get that joke.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's the top of the red one. They painted it.
Oh, they did.
Right. They did. All right, so let's look at these. Let's look at these tokens real quick. So, AdMech have some kind of. They got a lot of tokens. No idea what any of that means. I don't even think I could guess. Where's the burrow tokens?
I think it's those zeros and ones. Like
what about this one right here? What about this like weird ground popping thing?
Probably.
Maybe this indicates they're burrowed. This is like some kind of egg sac.
Or like it's a blown up wall or something. I don't know. That's a good question, right? What is it?
I have no idea. I don't know. I can't even tell what any of this is.
And what bases what are we thinking the Tyranids are?
Well, it says 28 millimeter here, another 28 millimeter here.
Yeah, but there's no
way they're 28 millimeters.
They're 28.
40s yeah, they're 40s. They're 40s right now. They're 40s.
Maybe even.
And
50s.
This is. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I think it could be that size.
Imagine these guys fitting underneath. Could you hide your models underneath Vulcus?
I don't think you can with these guys. They're too large. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Interesting. So these are pretty. These are cool. A cool little paint scheme. They're showing off the Hormagaunts right now, and
I think
the Rippers.
These are the new Hormagaunts too, right?
Yeah, this is the new Hormagaunts that are coming out in the box, showing off a bunch of NPO stuff with the Kill Team stuff, which me and Giacomo are definitely going to use. We'll probably do a whole stream where we just paint, where
Assemble,
we just have a bunch of Tyranids coming out, Then we look at the Tyranid terrain, which I am absolutely in love with. I love the new Tyranid terrain, big fan. I think they're saying that some of it's heavy and some of it's going to be light. I'm sure it's good. They're going to indicate it.
Yeah, and they're going to have narrative rules for it.
We don't talk about the sack. We don't do it. Nope.
Not in the sack.
Yeah, the wall's pretty cool,
I like this terrain specifically for what it means for the future. Like other factions will start getting terrain sets like this,
I hope so.
That's what I'm looking forward to. Like imagine getting the Eldar parts for this, at some point or something.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to get some trees and stuff, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So like I think that is a good sign because for the most part we've basically had Orc and Imperium terrain our whole life.
Mm-hmm.
So like I think it is time to show us some new zones or environmental terrain stuff. They kind of had jungle terrain way back when we were younger.
Mm-hmm.
So something like that.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's rather interesting. Can we stop Twitch now? Thank you.
There you go.
I'm rather excited for the box. Think it's going to be pretty fun. I'm really excited to see how strong a 5-man team is. They have to be cooked, man. They have to be cooked. Like they have to be.
Could you imagine their
legionaries, dude? Legionaries have 6 dudes.
And
they have 6.
They were dominating the boards. So just imagine what this team can do. Whether this is going to be a strength of theirs or it's going to become a limitation, we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Time will tell, right?
Absolutely. So we're going to pop over to Warhammer Community's article real quick. See how this goes. So I've already watched this one. We don't need to rewatch it. It's literally just kind of showing glimpses of Tyranids, and then a Tyranid jumps out at us at the end. So, so I believe the lore is now that, I don't know if this was the case before. I'm not familiar enough with the specific Raveners, but Raveners are a pre-planetary Tyranid force that strikes planets, burrows underground, and then strikes when it's prime time. So do you think that these things can grow into like Molochs and stuff, like those really big ones?
Well, maybe not grow themselves, but what they probably could do is because I've read some like lore bits where Rippers will just jump into a vat and be eaten for bio so that the thing can spit out something different. Mm-hmm. So like I wouldn't be surprised if after these guys did their task and like whatever they had to do for prime time, and then just like time to eat myself and become something else,
I could see that.
Yeah, so like in theory, you're right. They could do that.
Yeah, so it looks like the servitors are possibly the last line of defense towards the Great Gun.
Yes, the reloading specifically lore-wise.
Mm-hmm. So we get another look at the Tyranid models here.
Phaeton, Tremor Scythe, the Wrecker, a Venom Spitter, and a Warrior, which looks like the Venom Spitter and the Warrior are using the same body, which makes sense because I feel like they're going to give you, these are going to be, my guess is a sprue of 3 on a box.
I think you're going to get 5.
Well, you get to build 5, but like I think a sprue will have 3 per piece, right?
So you only get you think that we're only going to get a sprue and a half?
No, we'll get 2 sprues of 3s, and you'll be able to make all 5 out of them, and then you'll have an extra body, so you'll probably make a warrior.
Hold on. Hold on.
Unless they do decide to do that, and you just get 4 total plus the 1.
We might be able to spot it on the main box.
There we go.
Pop this open. That doesn't say. I think it's being hidden by
how many models you get
hidden by the book here. Yeah.
That's my guess, because usually, unless it's a character model, unless this prime becomes a character model, which I don't think it will be, then you should be able to build 6 models, is my guess.
Yeah, I'm going to guess as well that you either get to build 6 or you're going to get 2 sprues that hold 5, which will be either 5 normal warriors or 5 warriors, and then you get an upgrade sprue that has all these extra bits.
That's another option. That's another one. Yeah. So
it could be 2 sprues of 3, like you said, and then maybe another sprue for all this stuff.
Right. And
do you think these guys are going to be a nightmare to put together?
The hands probably. If you look at like the body, it looks like maybe 1 to 2 pieces that connect, but the hands have always been like socket side joint.
Yeah.
Parts, so.
Well, what's been crazy about Tyranids, I love the Gene Stealer kit. The Gene Stealer kit is probably one of my favorite kits just to put together. It's so easy. The layer lines are awesome. I'm really hoping that these are also like that, you know?
We'll see. They're bigger, so some layer lines are definitely going to show up, and there's going to be some cleaning. Time to bring out your high grit sandpaper.
Yeah, so it says the Raveners are elites among elites, bringing only 5 operatives to the battlefields, no grots, mutts, or funny little robots. Funny little robots backing them up. Players will keenly feel the loss of even a single miniature. But with the ability to tunnel under the kill zone and appear in unexpected places every time they move. I
would assume they're going to have the option to get to burrow all the time. It's just
tunnel under the kill zone and appear in unexpected places every time they move. So every time they move, do you think this team just teleports? And how far does that teleport go?
It's going to probably be like Fly, but underground Fly, where you can choose to slither or you can choose to burrow and come out.
I think we should take a shovel to all of our tables and actually burrow. That's what I think.
Oh,
place them.
get a power drill and like drill up the board. Like my model's coming out. This is 50 millimeters worth.
Say goodbye to your neoprene mat.
Yeah, say goodbye. Say goodbye to anybody wanting to play games with you.
Yeah. I actually played when I was young, when I was first starting. Mm-hmm. There's a guy at the kill team, a Warhammer store that used to paint his models in his own blood. And every time a model would die, he would smash it with a hammer.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Where's this guy now?
That was back in the year of 2000. I was 10 years old. He's like, oh, the Space Marine died, and he'd smash it. Now, was he just lying to me that he painted in his own blood? Maybe, because I was 10 years old, right? But I did see him kill a full, 25 Space Marines and just smash them. It was crazy.
Dang, that's
absolutely cooked that guy, you know?
Dang, he really cooked it. All right, what is he really sold it is what it is.
Yeah. So next up we have the tech priests of the Adeptus Mechanicus are protected by the legions of Scutari, but in dire... Okay, how about you read this, G? I don't want to read right now. You read this tech priest.
I'll read your tech priest part. The tech priests of the Adeptus Mechanicus are usually protected by legions of Scutari, but in dire straits, they will assemble forces.
I'm so disappointed you're not speaking in a robot tone right now. Come on. Come on.
A force of servitors to drown enemies with gunfire. All of their lobotomized minds give each other servitors a more complete view of the battlefield.
I like it.
That was fun.
Sorry, that was my...
Someone will be driving and they'll get scared hearing that they'll hit the divider on the road or something.
Absolutely. And then the jaws of life are going to pry them out and they're going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm actually in 40K lore. Amazing.
Here we are.
Yeah. So, all right. So the Techno Priest,
So this guy looks like he's actually.
It's interesting. This has to be done from a piece of art because his proportions are so off.
Right. It feels kind of big. Like his hands feel big and stuff, right?
His hands feels big. Like I would almost say that this is an old sculpt, but the boots, the shoes, and the knees tell me otherwise. So it makes me think that perhaps there's some kind of AdMech art that this guy is
based
portraying.
On. Right.
The fucking sigil in the middle of his chest
is pretty cool. I will give you that.
The clock on the gauge painted really well, but I don't know. It just seems out of proportion. You know,
I see what you mean. It's definitely like the plasma gun he's holding or something. Like that feels off. That's the part that throws me off when I see it.
See if I can.
Yeah, you see what I mean? Mm-hmm. But overall, I like the model.
Yeah, I like him too.
I think it's a fun one. The techno archaeologist, which is so what is
it has to be the leader, right?
Exactly.
The amount of freehand on this model is absolutely incredible. Whoever painted this guy, they did an excellent job. Yeah. There's freehand literally everywhere on it.
Pretty much.
We look at the Servitor Underseer. That's a guy.
Yep,
that's a guy.
He has a bunch of cables in him. I remember.
Doesn't he? He looks like Belisarius Cawl almost, right?
Yeah, because the models that get to that point kind of are designed on the same thing. I forget what the leader's called, the AdMech leader, but I had that model and
Belisarius Cawl.
Not Belisarius Cawl, like your generic leader, and he kind of stands like that. So they kind of use the wires as like legs and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so he's floating along, Then we have our 2 gun servitors. This is the Volkite cannon, which I'm pretty sure you're right. It does look like a Volkite cannon.
Yeah. Does he have like a little taser on his other arm or something? Or maybe that's just power claw?
It looks like a power claw.
Yeah, something, right?
And the homie with the heavy bolter definitely has some sort of a metal hand as well.
Yeah.
Then we have our Breacher Servitor. Do you think every team is just going to have a model that breaks through walls now?
You know what? Maybe GW is like, we made a lot of heavy, so we got to make dudes that can break through heavy so that people can play this on this terrain, Which I'm for. I like breaching walls. Breaching clear feels like something in a kill team you'd do, Assuming that's the rule that they're going to get. I don't know if that's actually going to be the rule, but we'll see.
That looks like another Volkite weapon.
Something. It's definitely, that's one of the things I liked about AdMech is they had a lot of different weapons from what you'd see from like regular Imperium guns. So they got cool different things, and I like that about them. So this could be one, We have the Technomedic Servitor. Now, interesting things about AdMech in 40K lore, right? A lot of times your AdMechs could repair your weapons, and I believe they could also bring tanks back to life. That was correct. That's what you took them for in Guardsmen.
Yeah.
And for the most part in Marines. Now, I feel like this guy should have been called the Technomechanic Servitor, but whatever, There's probably more mechanical engine parts than there are human parts on these guys. Just saying.
Interesting. And then the Auto Proxy Servitor. Do you think that this... So that is a taser goad. He has a taser goad for sure.
Built into his arm.
And then he looks like he has some kind of tracking array, and it looks like he has a comms. I bet you that's a comms of some sort.
It's got to be a comms.
With a taser goad. The medic probably has... Well, he has a power claw. It doesn't look like he has a weapon. Probably has servo arms. Servo arms back in the day used to be like power fists.
Yes.
So like almost all of these guys, technically, these 3 guys... Well... This guy might have a power fist, like straight up like 5-7 damage with his saw on the back.
Yeah, with the saw or something.
Same with this homie right here, the Breacher. And the Breacher looks like he has like some sort of a melta weapon. Now, we haven't seen Volkite from what I know of in Kill Team so far.
Yeah.
What do you think isn't it like usually... They used to do 6 damage in 40K. It used to be like 6-3 or something like that.
Yeah, what they would do is mortal wounds on criticals. So I'm gonna guess this is a devastating weapon, but the thing is, it has no AP. So that's the trade-off, right? In 40K, you didn't get AP, but you got, if you did the critical, it just does mortal wounds. So
I don't think it's Melta. They were never been on the level of Melta.
Yeah,
but they
Admech never really had one.
Yeah, usually they would do 2 mortals per time in 8th edition. You know, yes. I remember taking like 6 damage and 2 devastating, and it would just like nuke my Dark Eldar ships. Don't judge me.
That's right. What you did, man. That was the play. I took that.
You had to, because Eldar weren't a thing back then, and you played Space Marines, so I couldn't play Space Marines. So I had to choose the better of 2 evils, and that's some Hiddenistic elves. Okay,
they were good then. They were good at that time. They were good at that time. They were,
and I still won 3 and 3.
Exactly. I think I only went like 1 and 5. I had the lowest score. I was playing Marines in that edition. It wasn't going to go well. But no, I expect the Volkite to do no AP, like has no AP, but can do mortal wounds if it does criticals. That's my guess.
Interesting thing. On the, what's it called? The Kill Team app, the gun servitors have Servo Claw. 3 attacks, hitting on 4s, 4/5 damage. So I wonder if these are all servo claws, right? That means that's what these guys have. And I guarantee you they probably have some kind of directive to give to their models that gives them +1 attack. 4 attacks hitting on 4s, 4/5 damage. Something like that.
Probably.
You know? All right. And then finally, we have our 3 combat servitors. They all have a flamer? Those are flamers, right?
Either flamers or I think those are autocannons. Yeah, no, autocannon has like this kind of looking thing.
It has a slit.
Yeah, and I think autocannons have that slit like this. Like those who can see it on the camera. Mm-hmm. So I think they have autocannons. Maybe one of them has a flamer. I think the guy on the very left has a flamer, but I think the other 2 have autoguns, which is probably like 2-3 damage.
And then servo claws, 3 attacks hitting on 4s.
Yeah, exactly. Flamethrower will probably be 3 damage hitting on 2s, 4 attacks or something.
So what is this? What is the way that you think that this team is going to break the game? Because the other guys get a teleport. Obviously, these guys are going to do something, G.
Watch them have a rule that doesn't let them get any APL or something modified to the servitors. Like these 2 guys can still get modified, but like everybody else can't get negative modifiers. I don't know, something like that. So like they don't take stun or something. Like so they're the team that ignores the special conditions.
Wait a second. We were talking funny, so maybe we didn't actually get it. The No Sphere network woven between all of their lobotomized minds gives each servitor a more complete view of the battlefield, with safer operatives channeling their motive force to better placed allies for more complex maneuvers. So do you think that these guys just give everyone Seek, or like you can draw line of sight from each dude? That's the way they break the game.
They're all Hyrotech Circle Apprentice.
Oh my god!
Oh man, that would be. And I want to know what this Underseer does, right? Oh man, you're yeah, that's a good point. Maybe they do something like that.
That'd be crazy.
Or they get to put something on the beginning of the game, like they get to put, some kind of token that when something's near it, they can detect it and it gets like Seek or something, like you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. That could happen.
So now we move on to the terrain, right?
Yep.
This expansion also includes Tyranid infested terrain pieces, dossier chock full of rules, missions that make use of it, like Brutal and Cunning and Blood and Zeal before it. The book gives you an entirely new way to approach your games of Kill Team themed after the terrain. Here's the thing. Why haven't we ever played with any of the actual terrain from any of those sets? Should we just like run a map where we just put all the terrain on? So we have we have Brutal and Cunning, we put the giant statue on, and then we put a bunch of Tyranid stuff on there and see if our models can move.
Yeah, I think, okay, I'm going to play Vespids. Just going to fly over everything. Forget trying to move.
I'll play Mandrakes. Yeah,
there you go. Forget about moving.
Yeah, we'll just teleport everywhere.
Yeah, there you go. There we go.
Yeah. So Yeah, I mean, I like the terrain a lot. I do more of like AK Light Earth. It's a AK color. It's called Light Earth and black. I think they did a good job on this. Do you know what section of Tyranids these guys are?
Purple was
Leviathan? This just reminds me so much of like StarCraft,
I mean, yeah, for sure. Like, definitely. Wasn't that the thing, right? They were almost going to make a Warhammer game, and then they were like, nah.
I think so.
And so they kept a lot of things and just changed it. I mean, that's what I would do in that situation.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm pretty excited about the release. I definitely want to see the models in person. I definitely want to, paint some of these guys up pretty good, see what the rules are actually like, I think my favorite so far out of this edition, what has been your favorite team that's released or your favorite box? I'd say
favorite box. The favorite box I'm going to say was Hivestorm. I was very excited for both the teams when they were coming out. It was something new. You got the terrain and you got all the cards and everything. It's probably one of the best box sets. With the second go, actually, I think it mostly goes in order. Then I would probably do Brutal and Cunning. Then I would probably put this Typhon box.
Don't forget the starter box.
Oh, you're right. The starter box. Starter box is going to go after Typhon. And then I'm going to put the Sanctifiers and Goremongers last.
That's fair.
In orders of things I liked. Just because the starter box I already had like Plague Marines are definitely cool. But you didn't get like the full set of stuff, which I kind of get,
For me, I'm going to say my favorite release so far or for this edition was 100% the starter box. I think they knocked it out of the park. Even though Angels of Death got cooked by Plague Marines every single game, it was still fun, still good. And then my next favorite box would have to be strictly because of the rules, and that would be Rekkas and Ratlings. Mm-hmm. I think the rules were so much fun in that box. Absolutely astounding. And then I'd probably put this box next just because it has Tyranids in it.
Mm-hmm. And GL.
And then I would put Hivestorm, because it has the Vulcus terrain set, which is really nice. I don't really enjoy the play style of the two teams. So even though I love the Vespids, right? And I really like the Aquilons with the caps. I definitely think that the Sanctifiers and Goremongers, while an awesome box and probably the coolest piece of terrain out of all of them, would probably be my lowest for this specific season.
Yeah, I can see that. Like competitively, they're probably the strongest, but I think personally I had the least hype for them. Not to say that I don't enjoy the Goremongers after playing them, because they're definitely fun to play.
Dude, so many people have been talking crap about this specific Death Cult Assassin. How cool is this model in person when painted well?
It's awesome. Honestly, the Sanctifiers have some easy 10 out of 10 models. I love the Missionary. I love the Miraculous. I love the Death Cult Assassin. That's kind of it.
What about the Mask one? The Mask one?
Oh, the Jabberwocky. The Medic is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It comes in a cool fourth. But I really love the Missionaries. They're so gothic. They have their goggles on and everything. They're like preaching, but they got guns. Like that feels like the preacher you would have, like the missionary for them,
And my favorite model out of all the Goremongers is definitely the leader by a lot.
He's a cool
by
model,
a lot,
honestly. Because a lot of the other ones I'm not as crazy about, but the leader is he's so wicked.
I kind of want to make all of the Goremongers like the dudes just climbing on walls, and then dude, we almost painted them Spider-Man colors. We almost did.
Once we saw the red, we're like, okay, I guess not. Let's not do that.
Because originally I was doing jeans, we were doing black shirts, and then we were like, oh, let's do some red tabards, and it was like, oh, this is very Spider-Man.
This is getting too much.
This, and then I was like, oh, you could just lean into that, and just be like, oh, I'm gonna do a Spider-Man team, make them all like Oswald dudes,
Yeah.
That'd be crazy. That'd be fun. But I'm really excited for this next coming up box. I think that I think Raveners are a weird, like I think I said this before, are a weird choice. Gee, if you could choose another Tyranid to put into this box, because it's just one type of Tyranid that you're playing, right? A lot of times with Tyranids, you get to play a bunch of different kinds. In this box, you're like, yo, you get one type. Now you get to play big Nids, which have never been in Kill Team since 2020, which has been a long time. What do you think? This has been a long time coming for these guys.
I was actually talking with a friend about it, and I said, this is a perfect time.
Who was this friend?
You know
who I think it is?
You know him as BK, because he doesn't like his
BK.
name out loud on the internet. Mr. BK. He and I were talking, and we both had said, like, this is a perfect opportunity for them to redo Tyranid Warriors. And to have like the Tyranid Warrior like leader controlling with 2 side Tyranid Warriors, then controlling a bunch of little guys. Like this is the perfect time to do it right now.
That could always happen in the future. We don't know. That could
always happen in the future. You're absolutely right. Yeah. That was going to be it for me. Like that would have been perfect right there. Or of course, I think Gene Stealers can work generally. I don't know what they would do though. Like, right. You'd have to have a bunch of different mutations, I guess. How about you?
I definitely think the Von Don Lichters,
the Leapers, right?
The Leapers. I think they would have been really, really exciting and cool. I also think that Gene Stealers would have been great. You know, another one that I would have loved. I was talking to a buddy about this. Carnifex.
Oh,
and a bunch of homies.
What about a mini? Could you do a big Carnifex?
Yeah. So check this out. I came up with the rules. You ready for it? You ready for it? All right. So the Carnifex, you're like, how is he going to fit through doors? He doesn't. He just breaks them.
That makes sense.
On Into the Dark, any piece of terrain that this model would move through, just remove it from the kill zone. Remove the piece of terrain.
Could you imagine having in tournaments having to take the wall apart? Hold on a second, guys.
Yeah, I could imagine. I can imagine making my life much worse.
Judge, I need this removed, Judge. Calling us from across the tables at LVO. And now that it's even bigger, like they got to use a megaphone to get someone over.
Yeah. But, that would be cool, and then like in Volcus, you could just like destroy terrain as he like charges through stuff. Anyone in his path, if he does a 6-inch charge, all models die or just dead. That would be wild. Any models under 12 wounds instantly die.
I can maybe see that in the future should a narrative happen.
And that is his only attack. No, Giacomo, this is competitive. This is real.
This is a real rule. It's a real rule.
It's happening.
Their armor save is 3 up and they have 46 wounds. Good luck. It's one model.
And then and since you have to have a kill up of 4 or 5, right? Then you have 4 Hormagaunts.
There you go. I never
then
move
you have
them
your
to
5 bottles.
Yep. They always stay in the back.
Pretty much. That's how you hold them. That's how you do it. Yeah, I think a Zoanthrope team, a really interesting like Neurobug and a bunch of those like Neurogaunts and the Zoanthrope. I think those would have been super cool, like interesting as a team. Maybe not cool, but interesting as a team. It's interesting. Raveners were very big back when I first started playing Kill Team in 2020. And it was a big staple of the Tyranids. You would either go many bugs or you would go big bugs. And Biranid, who used to be an old content creator, used to love to troll people and say, "Hey, bring all this Tau," and then he would just bring Tyranids. But his big thing was always playing these big Raveners and stuff. So this is a blast in the past.
A blast
to the past.
A blast
to the past.
Blast from the past.
There we go. Blast from the past.
Getting blasted from the past is.
Now we just need a grenade that does the same thing. Like if your model's also within 2 inches of this next turn, you also get another blast. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, I don't think there's much more to talk about. We delayed this week's podcast specifically because we saw that Kill Team was getting a reveal from Adepticon. So, we did it. here it is.
Wanted to give you our thoughts about it. Thank you for being fans and listening to us yammering over here.
Mm-hmm. Big fun.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed our takes, what we think, and if you have something else you want to think about, let us know in the comments, of course.
Absolutely. Yeah. Until next time, everyone.
Yeah.
Well, we should
do some shout outs.
We should do shout outs. We can't forget Alexander Popov.
Oh, what am I doing? Him. Yeah, come on. You almost forgot the APP himself.
I did.
So shout out to Mr. Alex Popov. You can join the conversation, like we just mentioned, in the comment section or in our Discord. That's the Squad Games Discord. Links in the show notes. Or if you're listening to it on mobile, when you're driving or something, the links are in the podcast show notes, so you can check it out there. Link will take you there. You can check out our other YouTube stuff, such as previous episodes of the podcast, the Hobby Highlander series, the Battle Report, the most recent Battle Report, if you want to see Goremongers versus Sanctifiers. That's a good one. And if you want to see us live, we have an upcoming tournament that is, when was that? April 12th. Just kidding, April 12th. April 12th, that's going to be at Squad Marks in Orange County, California. That's a little southern area closer to Irvine, if I remember right. So if you're in the area or if you're nearby and you want to make a trip, feel free to get tickets. The links for those tickets will be in the show notes as well. And, come have a fun time, play with your new models, and talk some smack with Kill Team players.
Yeah, should be a lot of fun. I'm shout out GW for making some awesome models here. Looking forward to playing more Kill Team here in the future, and also getting in more battle reports.
Yes.
Our last battle report, we made a couple mistakes. It was our first time with the team, so as we practice more with the team, we'll get a little bit better. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. I think my biggest mistake was two big mistakes. You threw a crit at me and I just scratched it. And then in the very next turn, instead of making one attack, I rolled 4 dice and I took the crit, but
it's okay.
I made a couple mistakes. We all made mistakes.
I read the Gore Tank 3 times, and it wasn't until the third time, and I already knew this. It wasn't until the third time that I was like, oh, you can do it like the same thing on somebody else each time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was so confident for some reason the other way when I started playing the team.
It's interesting. I think that these teams are really hard to play, and I hope that we, in that battle report, even though we didn't make tons of mistakes in this one, we only made very few.
Nothing that was too illegal. Like me not using twice isn't technically illegal. It's just like you could have.
Yeah, I totally did a couple of illegal things. But the thing is that
I moved the hopefully, so whatever.
Hopefully we provide a very realistic look at playing this team for the first time, So, and then we will get better as we continue to play them and as we continue to play other players. We can't really have anyone in the studio until the teams are released. So it's probably just going to be me and Giacomo again playing some more. And at least next week, that should be on Tuesday on Twitch and then Wednesday for YouTube. And it should be, and it'll be live on Twitch, I should say. You get to see a little bit more banter between us at the beginning and the end of the videos. Sometimes we'll play another game and we'll talk to the Patreons, and we'll stream just for Patreons on our Discord. So make sure you guys stick around for that. If you guys have any people listening or watching, if you have anything that you would like us to talk about in upcoming episodes, make sure that you put it down in the comment section below. I've thought about tournament etiquette and a few other kinds of things and some other kind of stuff, but I think we have our very next podcast open. But if you want us to talk about specific things or things that you would like to hear from us for, put them in the comments section below, put them in our Discord. Should be fun. I can't wait to talk about more things because this brain can only come up with so much, and same with that one. So if you guys want some more, gleans or insights from us, maybe how we do stuff behind the scenes, or maybe not about Kill Team whatsoever, what does Dakotah did on his 0 session last weekend? I don't know.
Yeah, that's right.
For D&D, I don't know. That's crazy.
I haven't played since you played
8 years. Yeah, it's crazy.
There you go.
Yeah. And then I guess we'll stop rambling. You think we should stop rambling?
We should stop rambling right after you shout out the sister channel.
Yes. Sister channel, Tabletop Mayhem. Don't forget to check her out. She has some great, amazing shorts and some great lore stuff. Also, no, I forgot. I completely forgot. I was going to say one other shout out.
It wasn't Alex Popov.
Shout out AK Black. That paint is so good.
For real.
Giacomo, what is your favorite paint right now?
Paint right now?
Just that if you had to choose one paint to just cover a model in.
I can't say it out loud, so I'm going to tell you the second one. Because if I told you the first one, it would give away a future Hobby Highlander. So
you just have to, you could tell me the brand and I would know at that point. It's a Monument?
Okay. It is a Monument Hobbies color.
Okay. I know what color it is. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fair.
It is a very
exciting What's your second favorite?
It is also a Monument Hobbies color. It is dark gray blue, I believe it's called. Off the top of my head. That's the one I use for the Night Lords. I really like the darkness of that blue color.
Mine would be my second favorite. Vallejo silver.
It is a great silver.
Game color silver.
Great color.
Yeah, it's a magic color. It is a magic.
Some paints are just born magical, and you're just like, why would you? How it's so hard to find an alternative once you have like the right sheen and color, you know?
Yeah. Well, what's interesting is me and Giacomo have been doing a secret Hobby Highlander, and we've been each painting different teams with different brands of paint to be like, all right, so I painted pretty much all of the sanctifiers in Tooth and Coats, right? Goremongers was a pretty big mixed bag, a bunch of different colors and stuff. What teams have you painted so far in the paint brands that you've painted, G?
I've done Pro Acryl. I've done Tooth and Coats. I've obviously done Games Workshop.
Same.
I did old Vallejo, so I haven't done new Vallejo. That would be the Casterkins. A lot of that stuff was old Vallejo. I want to do Army Painters soon, and I actually really want to try AK.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to it. Maybe this next box.
Yeah, that would be fun. For me, I have a couple more paints to catch up on than you, but I have painted an entire team. It was my Halo Casterkins.
That's right.
Other than Master Chief, it was all Monument. So I've painted. I don't own them anymore because that was a commission.
You did the purple. What are they called? Not mandrakes. Hand of the Archon.
Necrons? Oh, Hand of the Archon. That was also all Monument colors as well.
That was a good one. Like, I love that color.
Oh, that one. Yeah. That is one of my favorite purples.
I picked it up
Royal Purple.
Royal Purple. Yeah, I picked it up. It was so good.
Yeah. If you guys want to hear us talk more nerdy stuff about paints, I got to get Giacomo back over here, and we got to do another one of those like relaxed podcasts where we just paint the entire time.
Right. We do a stream and a pod.
Yeah, just like talk. Yeah.
So and chill with the community.
Yeah, you guys just let us know if you want to see something from us. Cool. If not, that's cool too. You could just not comment. That's not a big deal.
Yeah.
I won't secretly despise you from my basement in California, which doesn't exist.
Does not.
That means I wouldn't hate you because it doesn't exist. See?
Exactly.
See where I'm going there, G?
There you go.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
He loves everybody, guys.
Oh, shout out to blood tests. If I didn't take a blood test, I wouldn't know that I need to lower my cholesterol.
It's important. Got to get them squad gains on.
Yeah, the squad gains. And I was like, you need to exercise for 30 minutes a day. I was like, well, good thing I've been doing that for 2 weeks. Imagine or 3 weeks. Imagine where my cholesterol was,
Yeah.
Or maybe I haven't made any improvements.
No, I like to think you've improved it more, right? Like whenever I don't exercise or walk up hills after a long time, I feel so winded. Like you need to be so consistent. And that's an important thing, right? It's consistency of doing stuff. Whether it's painting, exercising, or or doing podcasts, right?
Yeah. So shout out to Squad Gains out there. And if any of you are on your own journey, awesome. I will release more information about Squad Gains once I lose 10 pounds. I have lost 5. So I got to get under 205. And once I do, then I'll be more comfortable explaining what I am doing in order to lose more weight. So, yeah.
To help y'all get in shape and
even if you don't want to, for heart health,
for heart health, because we live a very sedentary life. We paint miniatures.
Yeah, we got cholesterol and stuff, and
we're getting
the things the things that clog these tyrannid arteries over here. Do you think Tyranids have cholesterol? Do you think if they eat like a world that's like really like heavy and like green matter, they're like, do you think any of their like ships die?
Maybe. And
this is a really dumb question, but like
maybe, yeah. Like
they're a living organism, right? They got to get cancer. They got to get something.
My thing was like, all right, so they're an alien species, right? Like, I wonder how many times they got infected by some pathogen. Like War of the Worlds, right? For those who haven't read War of the Worlds, a pathogen kills the aliens, right? It was literally a human pathogen.
Good job on the spoiler warning, Jason.
Hey, that book is so old now. Like,
I mean, if they made it to this point,
they made it to this point. They're getting the spoilers.
We're off the rails.
Shout out. That's what you can put in the comments, like pathogens. There you go. That's what you can type in the comments if you made it this far. So yeah,
pathogens. Why not, dude? Why not make everyone like super confused and be like, hey, put in your least favorite director. Okay. Like, we started off with that. Just go down in the comments and say, what director do you dislike the most? And not even say I dislike. Just be like, yo, what is that guy? Oh my gosh,
Michael Bay.
Yeah, Michael Bay.
There's one. I was.
Hey, he's done us a couple good movies.
He's given us some good movies. He gave us Transformers, the first one.
Yeah. He gave us Pearl Harbor. A very Michael Bay movie. Looking back, at it
totally is. Now, once you see it with like the future eyes. But yeah, so like how many times did it take for them to get diseased and then survive? So maybe now they just can't get diseases.
It's fair.
When they fight Nurgle, who knows what happens?
And also, I'm going to give another shout out. This is the last one of the episode. I promise. I'm just going to hang up right after this. Okay. Okay. Shout out to everyone who knows what pizza deployment, what triangle, and what nachos are. Okay.
What a
shout out.
No wonder.
Shout out. That's like our first few episodes. Yeah. That's back when I had good cholesterol. Right.
All right. I think that's definitely the last one for the night.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Signing out. Thank you for joining us.
Sayonara. Beep, boop, beep, boop, beep.
The Squad Games Podcast is a production of Squad Games Entertainment. For more information on Squad Games, please visit our website at squadgames.net or check out our YouTube channel at Squad Games Entertainment.